Hello guys, welcome to my channel Tuned to Linux. In this video I'm going to discuss and demonstrate about DRBD, which is called Distributed Replicated Block Device. If you are unaware what is it, you can go ahead and search in Google drbd.com or drbd.org. you'll have more idea about it. Okay, so it is a terminology, or it is kind of a new technology which is used for mirroring, and it is similar to RAID 1. In RAID 1, when you use to mirror the data among the file system, or you can use between LVM, disk, or partition, right? So there are three types of disk which you can use to mirror it. So it also, DRBD also supports the same thing. It supports disk, partition, or LVM, so we can use that. And the package which comes with the HAE add-on, so you don't have to separately download that. If you install HAE add-on packages, you can see it has come with that along with that HAE add-on packages. Okay, so for that I would just show you that information. It is /_HAE cheaper pattern HAE underscore slash, I believe. Okay, HAE underscore slash, right? So here you can see DRBD, there is a package, and also you can see for Yast there is one. Okay, and I believe these are the two packages which you require to install in your system. Okay, so once you install that, you will already have a DRBD daemon. So let me see, here you can see there is one daemon already available. Currently it is not loaded and not started. Okay, so in this system also, let me check the DRBD status, and it is not loaded. So that RPM you have to install. So once you install that, you are good. And for this demonstration, I'm going to use an LVM level mirroring, which is going to be formatted as DRBD, and I will try to configure that in this system. Okay, so currently I have two systems. If I do a crm underscore mount, there is node 1 and node 2. So both system I have attached 1 GB of disk. Okay, so don't confuse that the disk which you are going to use for DRBD device, that disk is not required to shade between the nodes. It can be individual and dedicated to host. Okay, so for this node I have attached 1 GB of disk, and for node 2 also I have attached 1 GB of disk. Okay, before I show you that, let me talk about some more about DRBD, which is which can be, once you create the DRBD device, you can resize, you can shrink, or you can extend the DRBD device online. There is an option for online extension. Also you can do it through offline. You have to make the DRBD device offline, and you have to change whatever you are doing it, say extend or shrink. Okay, so there are two types of sync when we configure this DRBD device between the nodes. The sync would be there is one type is sync, another type is async. So it is similar like in NFS when we use sync or async, it is similar. Okay, so once data is write on one device, it will sync to other device, but once the other device acknowledges to node A saying that data has been written, then the next level of block device write will start. So it's actually gives an acknowledge, and it's a better way of syncing, and there would be a robust data you would have, and you would not have any inconsistency of data if you use sync method. but whereas in async there won't be any acknowledgement, so it will simply send the data whatever it has right on the file system from one node to another node. So there won't be any acknowledgement and there might be an inconsistent of data. So it would be a first syncing if you use async, but it is not a good option. Okay, so access divide active with GFS or CFS file system. You can use GFS or CFS2 file system, which has the features of mention a multiple journal in the single file system. More than one journal it can given on this file system, which allows to mount one single file system on multiple nodes, right? So you can use that same DRBD device to use on multiple nodes and at one point of time. And if you are not using a GFS or CFS and you are using a simple ext34 or XFS file system, it will not allow you to mount a single file system at a time on multiple system. So you need to mount the file system only in one system at once, one point of time. Okay, so those are the pros and cons and features which we have. It there is not I have not given much, but if you go to that site and check for those features, there are many features available. So for this video, to give you an idea on how to configure the DRBD device, I'm just going to show you. Okay, and what else? Okay, so sync data over network. Okay, from node 1 to node 2, when we configure it, it will sync the data over your network. You have to give that IP address, so better you have a dedicated network interface. Okay, and in that you have to configure IP, and it will sync the data over the network with dedicated interface. If you have a dedicated 10 GB of interface, so it will have more speed and your data will sync more faster than if you are using the private public network. So it is recommended always to have a dedicated interface. Okay, so let's get started then. So let me see that the disk which I have assigned to this system, and let me format that disk. Okay, so here is the disk, which is a size of 1 GB. Let me create the disk and let me create a VG, something like let me just create the PV first and see the VG. Okay, so we don't have any VG called DRBD, so let me create a VG called DRBD VG and this name. So I have a now volume group called DRBD VG, but in that I don't have any LVM. So let me create a LVM with the size of 1 GB. So and let me give the name for DRBD LV VDVG. Okay, so 255. Okay, so I have to create this same device in other node as well, because it is not shared file system or shared LAN, it is dedicated to host. So I have to create the same thing in other node as well. So my device is ready now. So if I do LVS DRBD, I can see there is a LV created. Okay, so I'm going to use that DRBD, use that LV as a DRBD device. So next thing is the configuration file. If you go inside this DRBD etc DRBD.d location and ls, you will see one file called global common conf. Okay, if you get this file, you will have the option how you have to provide your options here. It has given a sample for global option how it has to use, and for common and other options you can see. For disk what options you have to specify, and for network what protocol you have to use. This is a file which has some information, okay. And also there is a file called /etc/DRBD.conf. If you get this file, currently here nothing it has mentioned, so what you have to do, you have to create that DRBD resource, and that DRBD resource information you have to update in this file, okay. So I have taken a sample in DRBD conf file earlier, so this is the sample, okay, DRBD.conf, and just paste this here. So DRBD.res, that format should be in res, and this is the common file. So you have to add this 2 line in this configuration file, and once you save that, and you have to create one more file called let me see, temp/DRBD. Okay, let me go to this location, and temp res, one example I have given here, okay. So this is a resource, and DRBD name, and meta disk, which is an internal disk, dedicated disk we are going to use, and device name which we have to give. You can give DRBD 0 also, but this is a DRBD 1 also. First, since this is a new single first device which I'm going to use as a DRBD, so I'm going to use as 0, and syncer, the algorithm which you can use in SHA, and the network configuration for this one, okay. And also I have an IP for the system. This is my public IP for node 1, and for node 2 this is the public IP, okay. And also I think I have an dedicated interface which is 83 in node 1, and in node 2 I have 82, so I can use that IP also. So for now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy these lines, and I'll go back to /etc/DRBD location, and inside this there is one file, and I'm going to create one new file called mydrbd.res, okay. And in this file I'm just going to okay, the content is this one. I need to paste this content here, okay. And instead of the public interface, I'm going to use the interface 182 for node 2 and 183 for node 1, and the port which is 7789. You can use up to 7799 I believe, okay. So those are the port you can use up to. So default I'm just using the first port which is 7789, so you can use above port like 7790 or 91 like that, okay. So the same configuration I need to do it on the other node as well, okay. So let me just check the first the cluster configuration which we have. Say sync etc sync and sync.cfg, okay. So here /etc DRBD file is okay, it is mentioned, so that means if I sync it, it will make the change on other server as well. So let me try to do this. Error, unable to sync DRBD res DRBD1 res and not 2. Okay, so looks like there is a file already. Let me see. Okay, DRBD .conf. It's not there, but still for some reason I'm not sure. Anyway, what I can do is I can manually copy this line, okay, and inside this location I will create my DRBD.res and I will update this line, and I have to change the IP 183 not 2, it is 182. Okay, so let's save this file, and also etc drbd.conf file. I have to include 2 lines, etc drbd.conf. This 2 line I have to include there. Fine. So now I have updated the configuration. Now the next step is to create the DRBD device. Okay, so if you run DRBD ADM and enter, you can see there are some commands which we can use: attach, detach, and here you can see create MD. So through this we will create DRBD device. Okay, and there are many commands which you can use. So for now I'm just going to do DRBD ADM create MD, and my device name is my DRBD. Okay, so if I do this, I can see write metadata, initializing activity load, and new DRBD data block successfully created. That means my DRBD new device is created, which is I have mentioned here DRBD.d my DRBD. So my device is this one, the device name, so it is created, right? So let me do this same for the other node, created. And now if I do DRBD dot overview, I can see it has not configured, and it is something showing here. And also you can see like proc DRBD, and you can see there is nothing configured here. Okay, so now the next step is to start the DRBD device. So how will I start DRBD? Start. Okay, this is one option, and also there is one option comes with DRBD ADM command, DRBD ADM up, and your resource name my DRBD. Okay, so let me do that. Here it has started, and in this system also let me do the same, DRBD ADM up my DRBD. Great. So now if I check DRBD status, I can see DRBD driver loaded. Okay, and I can see my DRBD here, and it is connected, and it says secondary inconsistent, the data is inconsistent. So the same thing I will check here also, DRBD status, and same thing. So now I have to make one system as a primary, and I need to mount that file system, right? And before that I need to sync this DRBD device between the nodes. So for that, what I have to do is I have to make one of the node as primary. So I will do DRBD ADM primary, and my DRBD, the resource name DRBD. Okay, so sometimes you have error like this. So if you have error like this, you have to do it forcefully. Okay, so now I have make this node 1 as a primary, and now if I check the status, I can see that sync status is ongoing. Okay, and also you can check here also, here as well you can see that sync status. Great. So we have to wait until that sync has complete. So now it is 23% sync, it is in progress. Okay, so we are pretty much there. So once sync has complete, we will just format that file system DRBD device as ext3, and we'll try to mount it and see whether we are able to mount that DRBD device or not. Okay, so it is 45% now. It is taking a little time, even though we have specified this device, individual dedicated device through which it is syncing. Okay, so meanwhile there are multiple commands which you can probably check, like cstate and my DRBD. You can check what is it, sync target status, and dump is a good command. My DRBD and dump, you don't need to check /etc DRBD and DRBD or my DRBD like this. You don't need to check like this. You can simply run this command and you can check your configuration file, right? So this is one good command, and there are other commands. You can pause the sync which is currently happening, and this secondary you can use to make your server secondary and primary option is here. And if you wanted to resize your file system, once you have extended your file system, you wanted to resize it, you need to use this commands, DRBD ADM resize and your resource name. Okay, so this is for wiping your DRBD device. And likewise, when we have started DRBD ADM up and resource name, it has started, and to stop you can use the same DRBD ADM down and the resource name, and that service will stop. Okay, so sometimes if your DRBD device is not working, you just have to ensure one more thing here, that DRBD module has started or not. So this module has to start. So sometimes if it is not started, that means then you would have a problem to start your DRBD device. So you have to ensure that your module is also loaded. Okay, so now it is all synced, and now I can see primary and secondary update. It says both in the system. Great. So if I just do status now, I can see this, and now I'm going to create this device. And also let me try to show you something here. DRBD /dev DRBD by res my device. Okay, So this is your file. So when you add this in your cluster to when you are going to use DRBD device in your cluster as a high availability active or active and passive mode, you need to specify this path instead of /dev/DRBD. okay, so now it is available here, and it should available in the node as well. Let me see. Okay, so here it is also available. So now the next step is mkfs.ext3/dev/DRBD 0, which is the device name we have given. Okay, so I just initiated a command to format this DRBD device as ext3. okay, and it has formatted. Great. So you don't need to format this to other node. In one node it is fine once the data has been synced. So now you can see the data is synced, so you don't need to format it in other system. You'll be able to mount that in other system also, but for that you have to make that other system as primary. Okay, so for now let me show you this -h. That file system is not mounted, so let me try to mount DRBD 0, and let me try this to mount in MNT. okay, so here it is. I have mounted this DRBD device in /MNT. If you just go inside this, you can see lost and found. This is my file system created, and let me create some file for test and see whether I'm able to create some file or not. And I'm able to create those files. Great. So let me try to unmount and /MNT. okay, and let me try do one thing, cat frog DRBD, and now in node 1 when I run this command it says primary. That means node 1 is primary and node 2 is secondary. okay, and if I do the same command in node 2 DRBD, it says secondary. That means node 2 is secondary and node 1 is primary. So let me make the change something like DRBD ADM primary node. okay, my DRBD, I'm just making this node as primary and try to check. Now it says both primary, but since it is ext3 file system, it is not going to allow to mount ext3 file system on both the nodes. So I need to make the other node, which is node 1 currently, so I need to make that as secondary. okay, so let me make this DRBD ADM secondary my DRBD. okay, now we can see this node is acting as secondary now, and the node 2 is acting as primary. So let me go back to node 2 and try to mount the same device in here, DRBD 0, and mount it in MNT. So I have mounted this successfully in node 2 now, and if I go to this file system, and I can still see those files are available. So this is it guys for the DRBD, how you have to create in your system and what are the requirement I have told you in the beginning. So those are the features we have it, and let's see if I can give you that one more time. Okay, so those are the features, pros and cons. It is not like this only this many features we have more, but I have given few here. These are the features and how it works. Okay, so please try to configure your DRBD device and let me know if you have any issues. Please write your doubt if you have anything in YouTube comment section, and also subscribe my channel, which will be here in this location. Please subscribe my channel for more videos. And if you like this video, if this video is informative for you, please like my videos as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good day.